And welcome in, welcome in. It is the Wake Up 502 After Dark post game rap show. Cardinals versus Pittsburgh. Joined as always by my esteemed colleagues, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. H to the Izzo. Haven Harrington, how you doing tonight, brother?
Man, what's going on? Our quadruple A? Man, I'm doing pretty good.
Good to hear it. Good to hear it. And the man who is, had the small setback for the major comeback, Romy Kelly, Romy Bean. Roman, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Excited to
How's
be
that?
in
How's
here.
that knee doing, man?
It's doing all right. I'm icing it right now. I've been walking and driving today. I got the doc
Okay.
unlocked the brace for me today, so got cleared to start doing a little bit more normal activity. Life getting a little bit more regular for me, and my knees getting stronger. So feeling good. Icing it right now. I'm supposed to be icing it a little bit more than I have been. I'll be honest, but
So you being a knucklehead is what I'm hearing.
Uh
maybe a
huh.
little bit.
How's that
Ain't nothing
flexion
wrong with
going?
What'd
How's
you say?
that bendy knees going? How many degrees you got on that bend?
I'm still at 90. They won't let me go any further.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, cool. Well, I'm glad. I know that you are. I've heard that you were a heathen. You were out there trying to drive before you were supposed to. So I heard you telling Mike about that. So don't be trying to be out there pushing it too much, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do too much and set yourself back. I know a bunch of cats that that they'll have the knee surgery and they don't do what they're supposed to do, and next thing you know, they fussing about their hobbling for the rest of their life. So
Yeah, I'm
make
not
sure
gonna
you
do
stay on.
anything too crazy. Not gonna do too much. I read up on it. The not driving is a precaution thing. It's not like I can hurt it from driving. It's that if I got into something into on the road, I don't have
Yeah.
the capacity to save myself potentially with the brake. But I'm all good now. I'm cleared. I've got the knee strength. I've got the unlocked brace, so my knee is bent in the car now versus being straight. So that's all good. And yeah, we're getting back right, fellas. Like Raashaan said, major setback or minor setback for a major comeback. Um, I vow to not go all out if I have not stretched properly at any physical activity, and I vow to stop doing that physical activity if I know my body is tired. So I should prevent any issues like this going forward with that. I never had any major injuries before, so just got to take more care of my body going forward. I can't just hop on the court thinking I can go all out and be LeBron on the fast break when I haven't properly stretched my knees and I'm already 4 games in and I'm tired. So Yeah,
Yeah,
gotta
please, no more chase down blocks, man. No more,
no
no
chase
more
down
chase down.
blocks. Probably no more fast breaks. Might just
Yeah,
give up the fast breaks altogether.
yeah. Go ahead. Let them have that layup. You can get it back on the other
Yeah.
end. But man, hey, fellas, this is going to be a very interesting post game show that we're going to be talking about as we look back at Pittsburgh Cardinals. Their first ACC game of the year goes on the road, comes out with the 34-27 victory, first ACC victory, first game where a lot of people. I mean, I feel like I um, felt like I knew some things prior to this game, but a lot of people felt like they didn't really know anything that Louisville had until this game today, or a game on Saturday. So let me just first ask you all. Um, let's look at I want to know how you are now. Now I know, hey, Barrington, you were out in the middle of nowhere watching your daughter play soccer, so you were having to depend on a bad internet signal and my text messages to get all your updates and maybe the ESPN app. So I'm gonna ask both of you like how you all were feeling at the end of the first quarter. What was your attitude, opinion? I just want to know how you all took that in. And Roman, since you were watching the game live, I'll let you go first, and then Haven, I want to hear your very interesting commentary as well.
Rashawn, I wasn't watching it live either. I was calling the
Oh,
game
that's
at
right.
Midway.
He
You
was
were
he was
doing the
in
game
So
at
midway.
Midway. Oh, that's
I had
right.
to
So,
I
so
had
you but
to
you were watching it, or you were checking. I'm guessing, were you checking your
yeah, I
Twitter?
saw we
Or?
were down 17-0 on the game cast. Watching the game, well, I'm not watching the game cast. We had we obviously started at noon. Midway didn't
Yes.
start till 1, so we were down 17-0 right when we were about to go
Oh
on air.
wow. Okay. So
So
how are you feeling at that point about?
I saw all I could see was that we were down 17-0 and we had 6 rushing yards. That's all I knew. And I'm like, oh no, dear Lord. I texted Mike, I said, what's the deal? He said the O-line's awful. And I'm like, all right. I locked my phone up from there, put it away,
Smart
didn't
man,
look
and
at it.
and handle business.
Late injury timeout, late in the third or early in the third quarter or something. Pull the phone out because we go off air because we have to like wait the kid. The kid unfortunately had to bring a stretcher out and stuff.
Oh
But
goodness, yeah.
No.
apparently he was up and conscious and stuff. So
Oh good.
hopefully he was all right. But I pull my phone out. It's 27-27. And then I'm like, oh my goodness. Lamar's got 300 and something yards. I'm like, what in God's name has happened? And I'm like, let me just put my phone back up. I had my Twitter had like a 12 on it or something like that from the number of notifications that had come in. So
Yes.
I was like, yeah, it must be some craziness happening. And then I obviously see that they win when we get done. I have watched the game twice now already, all the
Yeah.
way through. So I'm ready to talk about any moments. But it's just
Absolutely.
it's a completely different watch when
Don't
you
you feel
know,
helpless? Yeah, like
like I'm
when all
like,
you can see
okay.
is the updates.
And it's also, but the one cool thing about it is I had no, like, 17-0, 27-27. I had no idea that we go down on the first watch 10 again,
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
touchdown right before the half, I'm like, I had some true emotion, like some true, like, fucking
Like
broken coverage right
yeah.
there at the end of the fucking half. What the fuck's going on? You know what I'm saying? So I did have that, but I'm also like, I mean, I know we're all right. I know it's gonna be okay. Like I couldn't be that mad knowing that
I
we
know you were
do.
thinking like, how in the heck did they come? Like, how did they make this
I'm
comeback?
like, we down 10 again? What the hell did we even do? So I got to feel that and be like curious. I didn't see any. I saw the throw from Kariski before the watch. That's all I saw. So
Yes.
the only
Yeah.
play I've seen is the throw to Kariski. And I'm like, okay, that's a really lovely throw. Luckily, there was no timestamp, like there was no scoreboard in the highlight on the
Right.
video I watched.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know when that's coming. I haven't seen it yet. I have no idea when this throw is coming. I know it is. I don't know when it's coming. And to sit, so like I get to, like, okay, what the feeling of what is going to happen from
Right.
17 to 27 to 27 to 27. That is all. It's all. Every play is. I don't know what's happening other than the Nate Risky play, but I have some true excitement in trying to figure
Right.
out
Trying to
how
figure
we
out what
go.
happened, and it
Yeah,
was a crazy game. I'm sure even on a rewatch for both of you guys, I'm sure it was probably a crazy game. Like, what in the hell is
I
happening?
mean, I was watching the game mostly with Gamecast and text messages from you. Kind of let me know what was going on. I was like, I will look up and I was like, okay, down 7 zip. It was on three. I was like, okay, that's not too bad. Then next thing I know, I was like 17-0. What? What? I had to get back on the call because actually, not only was at my daughter's game, I also
Yes.
had a Zoom workshop I was conducting for work as
Of
well.
course you are.
So I was doing like three things at once. Uh, so I'm sitting there trying to,
Wow.
read through Twitter real quick while the Zoom link is up in the upper right hand corner of my phone, all nice and small. Trying to watch my daughter play soccer, trying to find what's going on. Next thing I know, it was like 17-7. What? Okay, we're going to have tied. That's not too bad. I'm looking at third quarter. I'm like, what? 27-17. What? What is this? And then, I'm in the car. We get close enough. We're like in West Jessamine County, so which is like about 30 minutes outside Lexington. So we ate in Lexington. Once we came back in, I was kind of able to hear Paul Rogers kind of like call like the game. But by the time I heard the game was over, it's like 34 twenty
Yeah.
seven, and I was like, man, I got to get home. So I dropped my daughter off and immediately started watching the game.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a thing. It was very entertaining to watch that game live because the one thing I love about the road games, fellas, versus watching the games at the press box is that when you're in the press box and watching the games, it's almost like you're kind of focused in on what you're seeing, and you're kind of, and I
And
like to
that's it.
do updates on Twitter, my thoughts as the game's going on, but I'm not interactive with Twitter. Like, I'm not watching Twitter, reading Twitter as I'm watching the game. I try to stay off Twitter when I'm in the press box for whatever reason. Um,
Not me.
yeah, yeah, I know you. You're always elbowing me, showing me tweets throughout the whole game. But I try to like lock in and just be like, okay, I'm just gonna give my people give my people the thoughts that I have. I'm gonna share the box score, etc. But this game, I got to actually just sit there and watch the game and kind of watch everybody's reactions like real time. So, I mean, by the end of the first quarter, I sent out a tweet and it was like of it's the SpongeBob Bikini Bottom scene where the whole city is on fire and everybody's running around and screaming like ah, and that is exactly the way, like, Louisville Twitter
I mean, it
completely
was
melted
all
down.
fire Miller Moss. Get rid of the bum.
Fire Brown,
Time
fire
for
Miller
Deuce
Moss.
Adams.
Time, yeah.
TJ Quinn needs to lose his scholarship because he can't catch an easy interception. The defense sucks.
Not a juice
Ron
box.
English is back to being Ron English.
Hold up,
Like,
hold up, hold up, hold up. Is that a juice box?
Yes, it's a juice box.
leave that man and his Capri Sun alone. If he wants a
That's like
Capri
Capri
Sun, he can.
Sun. Capri Sun comes in the pouches. That's a juice box.
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, yeah, you're
That's
right.
that's
You're right.
that's like first grade kindergartner's juice
You got
box.
to call out this man that for
But he
his
looks so
drink of
happy.
choice.
He
God
looks
forbid
so
I make a
happy.
drink on a little apple juice.
See
Shit.
what I'm saying? but no, it was so interesting to see because the one thing that I try to do two things, fellas. I try to give an honest opinion about this team, and as I evaluate this team, I feel like I try to have a good idea and sense of what we have in terms of the team. I try to understand what our strengths are offensively. I try to understand what our strengths are defensively. And I try to look at the tape of our upcoming opponents. And I feel pretty confident about being able to measure what we got versus what they got, and everything. And Roman, I talked about it with you on Running with Roman. I talked about it on the show last week on Wake Up 502 on Saturday morning. Like, I felt like the only way that Pitt could beat us is if we turned the ball over a lot, because I felt like Louisville had a decided talent advantage. I just thought that Louisville had the horses. I thought that um, they could not match up with the skilled players that Louisville had. I thought Louisville's defense would be able to do a great job against that Pitt offense. I did not think that the Pitt offense was very dynamic. And I trusted what I saw. So the biggest thing at the end of the first quarter that I saw, and you all can let me know on the rewatch your thoughts on it. But to me, so much of what, like Pittsburgh, first of all, their first drive was absolutely perfect. Like, and as I think about it, they did not have a drive. They did not have a single drive versus West Virginia near executing at that level. But the thing that I did not think about and consider was the fact that Pitt had a bye week to get ready for this game, coming off of a loss to their rival. Okay, so those Pitt players had been hearing it for 2 weeks that they had lost West Virginia the last game that they were going to play versus WVU in the what's it called, the brawl, the
The
uh,
backyard brawl.
backyard brawl. That was the last time that they were going to play in the backyard brawl until I believe 2029. So Pitt's going to have to sit in that loss. They had 2 weeks to prepare for Louisville, so they put a lot into this game. They put a lot of preparation, they put a lot of focus, they put a lot of heart and a lot of energy into that game. This was going to be the game that was going to make their fans forget about what happened against West Virginia. And they came out like a hungry, determined team that had 2 weeks to prepare for Louisville. And I did not give enough credit to that. So, I mean, for me, I give credit to them for doing that. They executed that first drive flawlessly. They got everything they wanted. You could tell they had gone over that script time and time again to figure out what they wanted, and they hit everything. You know, and for me, they had that perfect drive. But my thought was, okay, they had a hell of an opening script. Once you got to get out of that script and just play the game, I felt Louisville would be okay. They had, Louisville comes out. Um, Miller Moss looks a little shook. The defense looks a little shell shocked, and pretty much everything that could go wrong did go wrong. But I still had that sense of, okay, if we can just stop shooting ourselves in the foot. I know it's 17-0 at the end of the first quarter. We can still get back in this game. It wasn't a thing where I felt like, okay, we've dug ourselves. It's not like Louisville's like a running team where, okay, all we do is ground and pound the ball and ball possession. So if we get down, we don't have an offense that can catch back up. That's not the case with this team. This team has explosive playmakers. This team has a defense that has shown to be pretty good. And lo and behold, it goes from down 17-0 to Louisville's in a tie ball game. With just a couple of minutes to play in the first half. Now, I do take issue with the fact that what, I give Pitt credit. They do have the nice drive. They come back. They get the field goal to go up 2017. Right there with a minute and a half left, minute and 45 seconds left. But where I take issue is the clock management for Coach
Horrible.
Brom.
Horrible.
His end of half and end of game clock management, man, that is one thing where he has not done a great job. And that last drive, there is no chance in hell Pitt should have gotten that ball back with more than about 25 or 30 seconds left.
They could have
And,
easily salted that away.
yeah, like what did you all think about the end of like, I know that, Miller Moss throwing that ball at Isaac Brown's feet, with a minute 30 left, rather than just taking a sack or, you know,
Take the
like you
sack.
do anything.
Take
Take
the
the sack.
sack.
You got to make sure that, Pitt has to burn their last timeout and that you can run as much clock off that, run as much time off that clock as possible. But that was just horrible execution of a final drive. Haven, what did you think about that? Like, does Brown like I'm sure somebody one of those football coaches' sons play Madden all the time and can help them with their clock management. But
But I
like,
was just like, first of all, I was like, what are we doing?
yeah,
Like, 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 I know our offensive line can't run block worth a damn, and I know all our running backs are hurt except for the walk-on freshman. Uh, but I'm like, dude, just have them run and fall down. Don't even try to gain real yardage.
Direct
Just
snap it to Isaac if that's who you're
yeah,
trying to get it to. Direct
yeah,
snap it to
just
Colin Lacey.
run, fall down, eat up the clock, force pick, take all their timeouts, chew up the clock, and kick it back to them. They have a whole field in which to move, and there's no way their offense was going to move within 25 seconds in scoring position. It just wasn't going to happen. But I was wrong because our defense actually gave an easy touchdown like on their next drive. But still, there should have been nowhere near that much time left, and it was just I don't know. The whole first half looked to me like a team that really wasn't prepared to play.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like honestly like a lot of the other Pittsburgh games. I don't know what it is about Louisville going on the road to Pitt, but it looked like every other
Fellas,
Pittsburgh game that
that clock
Louisville's ever
management
played up
though,
there.
that's basic. That's
Yeah.
they got one timeout. They you know better. You know better than to throw the ball right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Well, if you're
basic. But
gonna
like,
or if you're gonna throw the ball down the field. Like, why are you trying to set up a screen pass to Isaac Brown? Like I said, Louisville is not going. Look, I know that Isaac is a very talented player. I know everybody in Card Nation wants to see Isaac run the ball 25 times. Teams right now are not going to let Louisville feature Isaac Brown. Okay, and Louisville
our
does not.
offensive line won't let Louisville feature
Well,
Isaac
I
Brown.
mean, but it's not really about the offensive. I mean, it's but like I said, when you're running out of the shotgun, I don't give a shit who the running back is. When you're catching, getting the ball 5 yards behind the line, and you have three wide receivers split out, and you got eight guys in the box, the numbers don't work. Like Isaac's having to make the free rusher miss in the backfield to almost get a 1 or 2 yard gain every time. You know why? Because even when we're in shotgun, nobody is worried about the wide receivers. All they're worried about is number one. Every team goes into the game saying we're not going to let number one do anything. So, like I said, I mean, I don't think our offensive line is necessarily playing great, but Louisville never has a numbers advantage in the run game. And I think that's the biggest thing is that, like the very first series of the game, Louisville comes out, run to the right. Everybody knows you're going to throw it on 3rd and 9, incomplete pass, punt. That was the way Louisville starts the game. And it's like, that's the exact same play, setup of plays that you had against James Madison. Are you really going to go into your first ACC game and give us the exact, like that looked like Scott Satterfield,
Yes,
you
actually, that's what
know?
Jeff Brom did. The whole first half, that's what Jeff Brom did. The same thing we saw against Eastern, the same thing we saw against JMU, the same thing we saw against Bowling Green. Like I thought that they was open the playbook a little bit more against Pitt, and they didn't. Like towards like the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, they changed some things around. Like they did
Yeah.
an offset eye. They tried to put a fullback in there with a tight end in the backfield, and he still couldn't run the ball. For some, like our offensive line is okay at pass blocking. They're okay at pass blocking. They can't run block worth a damn. Like
I think it's one of those things.
even
Every
even
team is
when they
coming
tried
out.
to go with like max like 6 dudes, 7 dudes on offensive line and bring an extra offensive lineman, they still couldn't get no. They got zero push.
But I mean, I think it's this, yes, and I agree with you. Like they're not getting a lot of push, but I feel I'm one of those people that feel like if a team wants to stop a running back, if they sell out to stop that guy, and that's the way Pittsburgh likes to play anyway. They like to play aggressive with 6 or 7 guys in the box, and they even brought their safeties down. They basically had 9 guys in the box and basically left their two cornerbacks on the island. That's pretty much how they play. Like as soon as Louisville even hinted with the play action that they were going to give it to Isaac, you not only saw the front seven there, you saw both of their safeties in the box 5 yards off the line. They weren't going to let Isaac beat them. And I feel like we've seen this enough now. We saw this against Bowling Green. We saw this against JMU. Isaac and Duke, they may be frustrated that they may not like the fact that this is the way it is, but I'm gonna tell you something, they weren't the feature last year either. Hey, like it was about Tyler Shuck and it was about the receivers, mainly Ja'Cory Brooks, and what they did in the passing game. Isaac and Duke were able to feast off the fact that they were worried about Shuck as a passer and this Louisville passing offense, and they were able to run off of that. That's where Louisville's going to win. I said it in the preseason. I said it after game 1, 2, and 3, and I still feel that way. This team has got to be pass first if you're going to succeed playing the way that Louisville is playing right now. If you're going to play out of the gun, if you're going to play out of the pistol, if you're going to continually go 3 and 4 wide, like that's not going to. You can't run the ball 35 times out of those sets. Period. Like Roman, am I wrong?
No, not at all. And the reason you can't do that is because, like I mentioned earlier to you on the radio show today, Rashawn, you're predictable. Everybody can see it. Everybody can watch it. There's no misdirection. You're not
Yeah,
incorporating anything different every single time you do it. You're not really incorporating anything different until you get into the red zone, right? So dealing with injured backs who aren't getting the same, first step of quickness like we've seen them have already, you're setting them up for failure. You're setting them up for failure when you're dealing with an O-line that's already, like you guys have both have said, not getting much of a push already. At this point, every single run needs to be to the outside with bring the tight end over, shift them over,
yeah.
put the whoever's on the opposite side of the direction you want to run in on the receiver, bring him over and shift that O line at the start of your snap every single time.
Well,
Uh,
they actually tried that a couple of times, but the problem really was Willow was running attack this game. Besides the offensive line getting zero push, was that you could really tell that Isaac and Duke Watson were really, really banged up
That's
yeah,
true. Also,
because they had zero wiggle. The
if they
speed
got past
wasn't,
the first guy, they didn't have enough in them to get
yeah, the
out of that
speed
second
wasn't
level.
there. And Isaac Brown, God bless his soul, when they try to put him in pass protection, he got whipped every time. He every time he got whipped.
He
yeah.
doesn't
I
want
mean,
to block. He doesn't want to block. He can't do it.
he doesn't
He
If you
want to
looked
don't
block.
want
like
to,
both of those
if you don't
guys
want
looked
to,
hurt.
fellas, if you but
Yeah,
blocking is all effort. If you don't
yeah,
Yeah,
want to, you can't.
but
yeah.
I'm looking at him though, and I saw him a couple of times. I saw him limp around. I don't think he really could even put his foot down and get enough leverage to block for real. I think the best he could do is just stand in front of somebody and be like, "All right, I'm gonna slow him down,
Yeah,
but that's all
they
I got,
both had
bro."
heavily
I'd
taped
rather you
ankles.
use your arms than your shoulder. He's trying to
He
nudge
was
a
a
guy
hundred.
as he's.
First of all, he's 180 pounds trying to block, like trying to block their linebackers like 230,
Big
240
boys. I
coming
mean,
at full
Pittsburgh's
speed.
got some big boys. They got some big
I
athletes
get it.
out there.
I
You
get
know.
Yeah,
it.
I mean, they
But
just
then don't play.
no,
Yeah.
with the thing with nobody else. Like this game, if we're gonna run the ball, this game set up better for Keywan Brown than either Isaac Brown and especially Duke Watson, because Keywan's a bigger back and he runs bigger and he's heavier,
I
but he
don't
was
Yeah.
care
completely
what you
out.
have to do. Put Jalil Skinner in the backfield if you have to,
Yeah.
Haven. I don't give a damn.
They gave Colin Lacey a
Protect the
carry.
quarterback when you
Yeah,
know you don't have it in you to go run. When you know you don't
Yeah.
have it in you to go get out of the second level.
Yeah.
but he was a threat, but you still had to have that threat, and that's the thing. Like because play action pass, it still brought the linebackers in.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every
Every
time.
time. Now,
Eh,
unlike the Bowling Green game, I will say that they made better adjustments this game. Because unlike
yes.
the Bowling Green game, and unlike East Kentucky, and unlike JMU, we kept calling for a screen. Or we kept calling for screens, we kept calling for slants. And this game, they actually finally started throwing like a ton of slants and a ton of quick outs.
You could see about midway through the second quarter where Jeff Brown was like, you know what, bump it. They're gonna keep doing all this crowding of the line. We're just gonna let Miller just go. And Miller Moss's maturation, fellas, you could almost see this dude grow up and get comfortable within the context of this game because he looked very much like Jack Plummer looked at Pittsburgh, very unsure of himself, very skittish, afraid to throw the ball. He was not throwing the ball with velocity. He was, staring guys down, throwing passes late, and
That second half looked like that second half of Tyler Shuck versus Notre Dame last
I'm
year.
telling you, like, and then you could just see it seemed like after the interception, after he threw the pick six, it seemed like he was like, you know what? I done already fucked up and made the mistake. So I can't do any worse. Now I can just relax and play football. And
They
he went
also
out there. What you say, hey?
so they also changed the routes a little bit because that was a deep crossing route when he threw that pick six. First of all, he stared the dude down, so it was an easy
Stared
pick.
him down.
Yeah,
Well,
they brought the
he should
crossing.
have thrown the pick two
They
plays
brought the
before that.
crossers in a little bit. I
Yeah,
Yeah.
noticed that they started bringing the crossers a little bit closer.
yeah,
Well,
they
he
brought
was
it
just
across
he
a bit
was
closer.
staring down his receivers like
Yeah,
he was hesitating. He was pump faking before he was throwing. He wasn't decisive, and it was kind of like one of those things where both he and Brom, it seemed like something clicked and was like, "Look, man, Like, we brought you from USC. USC is supposed to be the home of quarterbacks. You're from California. Where's your California swag? Where's your confidence? That's the dude I need. And it was just very interesting when they showed Miller on the sidelines after that interception. He looked completely unbothered. Like, he was going around, walking around, talking to guys, trying to talk to the receivers about what he wants to see the next time out. And the fact that he looked so unflappable, that was probably the biggest difference between him and Plummer. Not only does he have much more arm talent and much more velocity than Plummer has, but he also has confidence. Like, he has that gunslinger's confidence. Like, I don't care whatever just happened. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to win this damn football game. And you could see that kind of take over. And from there on out, dude was out there just seeing it, getting the ball out quickly. And now you get to see those athletes
Yeah.
for Louisville
Yeah.
shine.
And
I
that
feel like
was I said that was a change I think that Braun made, was making the throws much quicker, getting the ball out of his hands much faster, so he didn't have to think. We're just going to do this quick out, boom, hit him. We're going to do this quick slant, just let it go. Just don't think about it, just let it go. First dude's going to be open, it's all good, just let it go. And you can tell that they started making those changes, and that's when the offense really started humming. When they were just like, we're going to dink and dunk our way down the field, and then once we hit them with a couple of short ones, the intermediate passes would go, and you can hit them for 20 yards, and that's like what happened.
Roman, what were you
I,
going to say?
I feel like another thing is something shifted within the shift you're talking about, Raashaan. It seems like I watched him go from like wanting to make the right decision within the play call that he's getting forced to go pick so badly and not have
Yeah.
the wrong decision on top of the wrong play versus, all right, we're giving you two quick routes and we're giving you an intermediate to gain the attention between the tight end or the third receiver. You're going to have 2 to 3 options no matter what every single time, and 2 of them should be quick.
Yeah.
And it completely now all of a sudden he's looking at 3 receivers. He's
Yeah.
going boom, 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 back over to this guy and hitting him.
Hmm.
Versus the play calls before that, the passing plays, it was locked on to the this is who we're supposed to hit on this play.
Yeah.
This guy's supposed to get open on this play, and you're supposed to deliver the ball to him. Now he's so worried about achieving that he's not even playing quarterback. He's worried
Yeah.
about achieving that.
Yeah.
Um,
Dude threw
and
a no look pass.
yeah, he started feeling himself. He started, but it's because he started knowing these guys are going to be open, and I've got the ability to get them to him. And it's that simple. Versus, let me go make sure this play looks exactly how it's supposed to. So to kind of see him like you just said, have more of that little, not necessarily backyard football mentality. I don't really know the phrase I'm looking for, but more of a
He took ownership of the team. Like, it went from Miller Moss being the quarterback for Louisville to
so
this
this
is
is
my squad.
exactly. I was
You
gonna
know?
tweet that. I was gonna tweet that after my second rewatch, and I didn't because I didn't. I was like, yeah, well, without Chris Bell or Colin Lacey, what would this game look like? You know what I
Hey,
mean?
but but this is the thing though, right? It's like we felt like Louisville's got the studs. They talked about, you got Colin Lacey, you got Chris Bell, you have Trayshawn Hurry, you have Jaleel Skinner, you have Nate Kariski. You have so many guys. You got Antonio Meek. You got a lot of guys that can play, and it felt like everybody stepped up when needs be. Like, Haven, to me, one of the biggest advantages for Louisville is that when they're worried so much about Duke and Isaac, when you throw the ball, throw that quick little five
You got a
yard out to Chris
cushion. You got a
Bell
cushion.
or to Colin Lacey,
Those guys
those
are way
guys are
back.
very strong. They're very physical runners. So when you throw that 5 yard pass, you can get 8, 9, 10 yards as basically an extension of the running game without handing the ball off. I mean, that's a huge advantage to me. I mean, Trayshawn Hurry is another guy that's very strong, with the ball in his hands. Like, you can do that until they back off, and you just got to make them pay for it. I mean, like, in my personal opinion, it can't be about, this team is not about Isaac Brown. Okay, this team is not about Duke Watson. This team is about Louisville football. And to me, if you need to even use those guys more as decoys to help the team be successful, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, am I wrong?
I don't think so. I mean, especially if you can get them healthy. Both of
Yeah,
them have game-breaking ability to where if you don't make that tackle in the first level, they get to the second level with a body's length of position and some momentum. You're probably not bringing them down when they're healthy, right?
yeah,
if you have two guys like that both have that ability, it doesn't matter what Miller did. It doesn't matter that he threw for this and threw for that.
Yeah,
If they're healthy, you have to game plan for it. If they're both playing, fellas, you have to game plan for it because there's just that risk. There's just that risk. If they can have the ability to be out there, I do want them both out there still, and I do kind of want to see us still attempt to run the ball. It was
absolutely.
interesting, and another interesting thing is I was questioning the run game earlier with you, Raashaan, and wondering like how long is it going to continue to look like this, or how long does it continue to be this consistent of the decision to run when you're getting this outcome? And I still look back and I think back to this game. The passing game forced a lot of short yardage situations in this game, a lot where it's second and three, second and two, third and three. You got to try to run it in some of them when you're on your side of the field, because it's a lot of the times it's like, well, they've been throwing it. You can maybe catch them off guard here with the run, even though not out of the shotgun, that's not gonna work.
Hey,
Not
I
out of
tell
the
you what,
pistol,
the Miller Moss sneak worked like 2 or 3 times, and he got like 3 or 4 yards on the
it worked
sneak.
twice
That's
exactly.
Yeah.
like, if you're gonna, I mean, hell, why not? If you're gonna get 3 or 4 yards on a sneak, how about we do that? Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah. I'd
know,
like to see that. I'd like to, see some
why
direct
can't Louisville
snaps
do a
from some
tush
people.
push?
I mean, like
Like,
Bring bring Deuce
until
in.
those
Let
guys
Deuce
get
run it.
healthy,
yeah,
yeah, until both of the Browns and Watson get healthy, you probably you should see some more quarterback sneaks because Miller Moss is a kind of athletic. He's a what's the term? Sneaky athletic guy. He's sneaky athletic.
he's like a coach on the field.
Yes. So like if you can, so if he can run a couple of times, that lets the defense know it's like okay, we got to watch out for this until our running backs get healthy. But to me, it's still crazy. We're like 4 games into the year, and we had like a stacked running back room, and they're all down.
They're all hurt. I mean, you had Jamaris Wilder and Keywan Brown listed as out. You had Duke and Isaac both, banged up. You still, I mean, Braxton Jennings, the red
Just
shirt
a walk on freshman.
walk on redshirt freshman, is the only guy who's healthy. Like, it's insane to have possibly the best running back room in the ACC, and none of those guys are available. But I mean,
Yeah,
but Roman, we talked about it. I felt like, regardless of who the running backs were, I felt like Louisville could win this Pittsburgh game because I thought that they would be able to do enough with the passing game and with the defense slowing down Pittsburgh that they would be able to get it done. But I tell you what, before we move away from the offense and talk about the defense, who are the couple of guys that stood out to you? Is there anything about the offense now that you trust more, or that you want to see more from, or that you are, I guess, maybe excited about moving forward after this one?
I'm certain. Chris Bell and Colin Lacey are locked in to do whatever it takes, fellas. A lot of those
Yeah.
routes, a lot of those throws, it's hey, we're gonna get it to you quick, and you're going to get hit, and please do whatever you can after the catch, but you're going to get hit on a lot of these routes. And they're willing to go out there and run them, catch the ball, take the hits every single down. Just seeing that this early in the season between them, seeing them be able to, avoid injury through that kind of usage and productivity, that was nice.
I mean, hey, to that point, and then I'll let you continue. Chris Bell, of course, 10 catches, 135 yards, and a touchdown, averaging 13 yards a catch. Colin Lacey, 8 catches, 95 yards, averaging 12 yards a catch. I mean, that's money. That's money time. Like, that's big time football. I mean, that's a hell of a duo. Like, to what you said, Roman. I mean, having those two guys is exciting. Like, having two players of that ilk. If you can find like that consistent third guy, that can be that, you know, that just
I think
completes
that
it.
the one cool thing about Louisville football in the last 2 years, that third guy has been someone different every single game.
Yeah,
It's the tight end sometimes. It's
yeah,
the wide receiver 3. It's the wide receiver 4 who's come in and done some minutes. Tight end 2 sometimes coming in. Redmond, Kariski. You've got what you got out of Jamari Johnson last season. Uh,
yeah.
uh, you always have Jeff Brom's always seeming like he's got an ability to get somebody involved when he brings them in. Um,
I mean,
I
the
think
tight end,
that we want to
7
continue to
catches, 56 yards, 2 touchdowns. So yeah, pretty much the tight ends were the third guy in this
we
game.
want to continue to just make sure that someone is being that third guy for us some in some facet each game. Doesn't that I don't even think we even necessarily need to pinpoint anybody because I don't want to put an unrealistic expectation. I think Trayshawn Hurd needs to step up. I feel like he needs to run smoother routes. I think he needs to be a little bit more self-aware.
And catch the damn ball. That pass that Miller Moss threw to him, that back shoulder where he had to turn, that ball went right in between his arms and
He
He's
dropped
had
it
more
it.
worried
on him.
about he's
That
more
should have been
worried
a
about
huge
getting
first down.
2 feet down, trying to look like an NFL player than he is catching the ball. So that's what you get. But the holding and all that's too much as well. You got calling
Yeah,
him out there to improve that. I want to see more of the Corey Collins. I feel like we didn't see a whole lot of him when he got out there, just not really being able to get open, which isn't that's just how it is sometimes when you're trying to
yeah,
play fast. He's not necessarily getting those short routes when he was getting in. So uh, hopefully we can just continue to see somebody be that third person game in and game out, whether it's Beaks, Hurry, Skinner, Kuriski, a running back out in the passing game, potentially maybe just with a few big plays. If we can continue to have that third pass catcher just be prevalent each and every game. We should be okay with the productivity we were getting out of Colin Lacey and Chris Bell, fellas. It's unreal, and I think Raashaan, like, that goes to the point before we get to the defense here. Like that's got to be our game plan now. Get them going early.
yeah,
Let the pass game open up the run game. Unlike that's your only chance.
yeah.
Like that's the only way. Make play action. Make them have to bite uh, uh, on play action because you're able to get those few runs that work because they're biting on the pass every single time. They're pressing now. They're dropping their safeties, and you're opening up all that free space in the intermediate passing game. Now you're hitting them with an unexpected run because they're not bringing as many people. It's the only way it's seeming like it's going to be able to work. In the few runs we have been able to break through for this season, so it's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. Haven, what about you? Anything from you takeaways offensively?
For me, I want to see us. Okay, you always get on me about harping on this, but I just can't help it. I want to see Chris Bell make that change. I want to see that switch flip for Chris Bell because he can be dominant. He can take over a game. But to
He
me,
was dominant.
he was. But like my biggest issue with Chris Bell has always been he's been inconsistent. Like some games he's the man, and then he'll just like disappear.
So this is like the Malik Williams game where Malik said that coach came to me after the game and said, "Now that you done showed me this is what you can do, I need you to do this every game.
Yeah,
You done told on yourself."
yeah. I mean, he has to be like last year. I thought him and Ja'Cory Brooks really could have been an awesome like 1-2 punch, but it seems like he just never really just showed out. You know what I'm saying? Like some games he'll be on and then he would just kind of like coast, and then he would just reappear, then disappear. I want to see him just be on all the time. Become that great wide receiver that
If the run game looks like this, Haven, sorry to interrupt, he's gonna have a lot more opportunity. You got to think once we got that run game going last season, we ran the ball more consistently, and we had a lot more backs running. They couldn't stop it. We didn't have to rely on the pass game like we're about to start having to. Just to say,
yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, but yeah, but even still, he still has that ability because even last year with the great running game, anytime Shook got in trouble, he was always looking for Ja'Cory Brooks, and I'm throwing up to him because I trusted that he's gonna go up there and get it, regardless if he's covered or not. I'm gonna throw it to him because I know Ja'Cory is going to be open. He's going to get open, and if not, he's going to do everything he can to catch the ball. I want to see that from Chris, right? We just throw it to him because we know that he got it. I don't care if he's double cover. If I throw it to him, he got it. He got it. Because I think he can be that type of wide receiver. I think he easily be that type of wide receiver. I
he's
just want to
shown
see
it.
it.
He's shown that he can be that.
Yeah, I just want to see it
Yeah.
consistently. Um, Other thing, you know what? Offensive line, pretty decent pass blocking offensive line. I just want to see him keep it up. Just keep
Improved,
improving. Yes.
improved from what we've seen so far. I'm not gonna say. I can't even know. I don't even know if I can call it decent yet. Some of those sacks are terrible.
Well, from where they were at the beginning of the year, they have greatly improved in their pass blocking, and I want to see them keep improving on their pass blocking. Moss,
Yeah.
I want to see Brom continue to call plays that's in Moss's wheelhouse,
Yeah.
and to keep the short dink and dunk passing games in intermediate routes. And
Great
then if
point.
we can get an
Yeah.
offensive line together, I would like to see us go deep once or twice, even if we don't complete it just as a threat that we can go deep
We don't
and that
need
we
the
can get,
Madden shit though.
huh?
The Madden shit Jeff Brom's always trying to get into.
Yeah,
Yeah,
When he
yeah, yeah,
starts feeling himself, trying to throw the
yeah,
ball
yeah. No,
30
not
yards every single play.
no,
yeah. No,
you
no,
can't
no.
do
Please,
that.
please take
It's
the
it's like
underneath route.
it's like we have the wide receivers, I believe, to go deep and really stretch a defense. We don't have the offensive line to go deep and stretch a
Well,
defense.
and you don't necessarily need to because our underneath
Oh,
guys
you
can
always
make
need
things
to.
happen.
Oh
I
no,
mean,
no,
you
no,
can.
no, 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 no. You always need to go deep. This is
I
Jeff
don't think you.
Brom.
I
You
mean,
always need to go deep.
Hey, look, if I have a 80% chance of getting it to Colin Lacey on this 8 yard stop route, I'm gonna take the 8 yard stop route and let him run for another 10, 12, 15 yards. I'll worry about that 30 yarder later. It just looks pretty.
Hey,
If you got
if
a
I can drop
if you got a
56 on you a
68
couple of
percent
times,
if you got a 68% chance of hitting Chris Bell on that 50-yard streak, boy, you better throw it.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
it's the Brom offense.
yeah. I mean, hey, I'm down for it, and especially I think that was the biggest thing. Like Dakari Collins is the kind of the deep ball guy. I like he feels like he's like the deep ball specialist. And Pittsburgh, a lot like JMU, was not going to let Louisville do a lot of that. That's one of the things where Haven, to your point with the offensive line, one of the things uh, I watched and I was impressed with was how much better the line got stop stuffing the Pittsburgh rushers. Like as that game went along, especially middle of third, all the way through the fourth quarter, Pittsburgh's pass rush started to become more and more ineffective as the game went along. Like those guys work things out, and you're playing against. Let's be honest. Like Louisville's not going to see another team with that many athletes on it until they play Clemson this year.
you know what?
Miami.
Maybe not.
I mean, and
Miami.
Miami.
Hey, you know what?
You know,
Don't sell Virginia's defensive line short. Don't don't sell Virginia's defense
you know
short.
what? I'll believe it when I see it. UVA is still UVA. Louisville don't lose to Virginia at home, so I'll see it when
I'm
I,
I'm I'm just saying Virginia, and when Paul Rogers said this, I was shocked that Virginia has spent more on their football team through NIL than any team in the ACC.
I will believe it when I see that. There have been a couple of times where
It
Virginia
was all on
came
the
in.
offensive line.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like, look, Tony Elliott's doing a good job down there, but I'm.
The defensive lines, it's had flashes, but it also
There
has
have been, I
shown that
believe, two times that Virginia has come into Cardinal Stadium with a team that was supposed to be pretty good, and both times it ended up being a bit of a meh. Brennan Armstrong came in here and we shut him down, and then the black guy, the one with the dreads, I can't remember his name, the quarterback came in here and we shut him down. It wasn't really very impressive. So we'll see. We'll see. Hey, they knocked off Florida State, but for me, Haven Harrington, you know how I feel about that. I don't trust Thomas Castellanos as far as you can throw him. That dude is so up and down. Congratulations, UVA. You're going to help us to look better when you come in
You know,
here and we can
honestly,
go ahead and
that
get that
game
win.
was really, Castellanos actually didn't play a bad game. Florida State's defense was horrible.
Yeah, the defense was
Was horrible.
terrible. I
they
mean,
picked off
Castellanos.
they picked off Chandler 3 times.
They
I mean,
did.
I
One of
mean,
They
them
also,
was
Castle,
one of them was terrible. He just shouldn't have threw it at all. But one of
Castellanos
them
is just a dude that he's the best player for both teams at times. He will make great plays for you, but then he will also do the dumbest shit in the world. So, you know,
and that arm
I'll
is
take all that with a
that
grain
arm
of
can get iffy. That arm
yeah.
can get real iffy.
Absolutely, absolutely. But let's go ahead. Let's flip it to the defense, fellas. Um, not much to say. I was very frustrated with the dropped interception, but after those kind of weird fluky plays and that very strong start, the Louisville only gives up what 10 points after the first quarter.
The
The rest
ball
of the
was
game,
coming down in slow motion, Mister TJ Quinn. You gotta come down with that. I don't even
I
care
was
what
no,
else you did.
no.
I don't even care what else you
Honestly,
did in the game. You gotta come
honestly,
down with that one.
that's the easiest
honestly,
interception
I'm not
opportunity
gonna
in the
follow with
world.
the interception. The thing was like it was a pop fly, went straight up and came straight down. The dude looked lost. To me, what was most concerning about for me was just like we let too many of these. I'm gonna say mid, but average Pittsburgh wide receivers just get way too deep, like way too many deep passes
Say
on
it.
us.
Say it. Call him out his name.
Like Hicks was okay. I'm honestly
He got
like
lucky
Louisville.
on that one. He
He
got
did.
lucky. I,
He got
I don't
lucky on that.
care.
No, that was
He
concentration.
wanted that. He wanted. I mean, but that's the thing, right? Is this is the team that you were at last year? You know, you want to play well against your old team and your old teammates. I mean, so that was going to be
Yeah,
the game where Hicks was. If he was going to ball out any game this year, that'll probably be the best game of his season was
it will
against
Hmm.
be.
Louisville.
But they also had like another wide receiver as well. They got the one right before the half. Got the 56 yarder. They got down to the four right before Watts had the interception. I'm
Yeah,
just
no, that was
like,
Hicks. That was Hicks. Both of those
oh,
was
that was
Hicks.
6-2.
Yeah,
Okay, but I
yeah.
was just like, I'm like, man, why are these dudes just like what is going on with our defense? Like even before the half, okay, they got the ball back. You know they're going to throw the ball on us,
Yeah,
and
that was a
they
busted
were playing
coverage. I
like
don't know
they were
what
playing like
happened
10,
with that.
15 yards off. I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, they were playing off, but then they allow. I don't know if they thought if the safety thought that Eli Holstein was going to run, and he came up,
I don't care.
and
You're a
the guy
safety.
went right
You're
by
a
him.
safety. Finish the
Yeah,
play.
you
That's
can
not your
Finish
job.
never
the play.
you can never let the receiver get behind you, and that's the cardinal rule. And he went for had his hands in the cookie jar, and it cost him. But hey, you know what? Louisville did not allow a point in the second half, y'all. Like it
And
was
True.
that was impressive.
27-17 at halftime, and they did not allow another point. They said, "You shall not pass." So,
You
the
know, they
one
We
thing
stiffened up. The play calling got better. We got more aggressive.
yeah,
We started bringing more blitzing. We got Holstein rattled, and then it was over.
I mean, I feel like the one thing I'll say about this defense, and you all can tell me if I'm wrong. Like, I feel like Louisville has a good defense, and I feel like after seeing them come out there and perform against Pittsburgh in that environment, I feel like this year all of the guys understand the scheme, they understand their responsibilities. So now, I don't feel like we had more I feel like we had more athletes last year, but I still think we still have a ton of athletes this year. But the difference between last year you had a bunch of athletes, but they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know their responsibilities, they didn't know where they were supposed to be. So it was basically a year of confusion. Basically, this year you may not have as many athletes, you still have a lot of athletes, and now everybody knows what they're doing. So now they can play fast, they can go make plays, and they can just go out there and play football, if that makes sense. And now that they can do that, I feel like I can trust them. Like, do you all? How do you all feel about the defense? Do you feel like you can trust them, or do you need to see more first?
I don't know if I can trust the secondary yet. I need to see more from the secondary. I need to see them consistently perform like that for the entirety of a game.
Okay.
Um, because they turned it up in the second half, but they still had a couple throws in the second half, a couple coverages that just they weren't on point in a big game. Every game when you've got a schedule like this and some other teams are performing how they are is now you've got to go out there and perform to your best of your ability in a game in and game out. I feel like our secondary in its first true test um, showed that it wasn't prepared at the start of the game, right? And needed to lock in on some things and change a couple of things. And luckily they did. Started finishing plays all the way throughout, started paying a little bit more attention to some things in coverages and stuff. So on top of, I feel like our defensive line was getting even more pressures in the second half
Yeah.
on the whole team and kind of helping the secondary out a little bit.
Clev
So
Lubin was out. He may not have had a bunch of numbers, but Clev Lubin was all over the place, breaking up. Like his ability to sense out screen passes is like unheralded. Like that dude can feel a screen pass running, from a mile away. Like he's gonna pick one of those screen passes off before this season's over with. He's gonna get him one. Like it has not happened yet. He's going to get him one, and it may be in a big game. So
I'd love for
like
it to be
that's
on
one thing.
Carson Beck.
I would love it.
They throw they
I
throw
could
some
see it.
screens too.
Oh
They throw a
yeah,
lot of screens.
yeah, yeah.
Manning
I
throws a
mean,
lot of quick screens, a lot of
there
wide
was a
receiver
few times
screens.
where Louisville, sniffed out those screenplays and almost, almost got in there. So I think that's something to look forward to. But I'm confident. Like Haven, how are you feeling about the defense at this point?
You know what? I think me and Roman have the same feelings, right?
Yeah,
Love
Defensive
the
line,
linebacker play. Love the
defensive line
defensive
A
line.
plus, linebacker play B
Considering you've
plus.
lost Stanquan Clark and you've got
Yeah,
a
have
one,
not have not. No, nobody has said, man, will they really miss Anquan yet?
yeah, and you've
nope.
had Perry and Capers have been sharing the load, so that's kind
Yeah,
of not not necessarily a whole lot of consistency in who's in there down in each down. So the fact
But
and
that
the
you got
plays there.
Caleb
they're
Perry balled.
substituting at the
He
rate that
played
they
very he
are,
played very
Yeah,
well. He
yeah,
played very well.
it's to me, it's just that secondary. Because you let a lot of mid Pittsburgh receivers get behind you. Uh, and yeah, you just can't do that. I mean, you was able to kind of bend. They didn't break in the second half, but against teams with better wide receivers, you can't let that happen. You're gonna have to be a little bit more aggressive
I ain't
on,
mad at
on
the
that back
shutout
end.
though. I ain't mad at the second half shutout at
Second half
all.
Nah,
shutout, strong on
but
the
the thing is,
road.
this is
Got
what I expect from
Eli
Pittsburgh.
Holstein bench. We knocked him out of the game last year and got him benched this year. Eli hates Holstein. Probably hates Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
I
What you
mean,
about to say,
but
Evan?
but this is what we kind of expected. The second half is what we expected pretty much all game from the Pittsburgh team, especially from the offense. Like we
Yeah,
knew they really weren't hitting on much, especially without their number one running back. They didn't have too much left in the tank. That first half, they were all excited. I really don't think we was ready to play the game, and our game plan was trash, and we had to make those adjustments to kind of get back into it, and we did.
yeah.
And talent we just have more talent.
I love it. Hey, if you can have more talent than Pittsburgh, that's saying something. I mean, this isn't, maybe not your daddy's or your granddaddy's Pittsburgh team. Still a good team. So the fact that Louisville was able to go out there get that big win on the road. Roman, I sent you over the that boy's good player of the week. So let's go ahead and bring that up if you can pop that up on there. I didn't even bring it up last week because you was gone, so I just blamed you and said it's Roman fault. He's not here, so I couldn't bring it up on there when we announced Colin Lacey last week. So let's go ahead, bring it up. Congratulations, TJ Quinn. Got it done. That boy's good player of the week. TJ, you almost did. First of all, you got thrown off the team after you had the dropped interception in the first half, but you came back. You had two big interceptions, five tackles, a pass breakup, as well as a QB hurry. He was all over the place. Made the big plays to shut down Pittsburgh's chances to get back in this game. Fellas, I don't think there's anybody better that could have gotten this award. I was definitely before the game and even after the game, honestly, leaning towards Miller Moss. But no, I think that TJ definitely is a deserving winner of the award.
Yeah, he was everywhere. And this is a lot, Raashaan, you had mentioned it, Mike had mentioned it, Dalton Pence had mentioned it, a lot. Keith Wynn, I feel like everyone's mentioned it. Can TJ Quinn be that same presence as a linebacker in pass protection that he is in the run game? Right?
Yeah,
He's probably the best player out there defensively in the run game outside of the defensive line, and in pass coverage, we knew that Stanquan's build is that he's built like a linebacker, but he's also nimble and agile and can get into coverage very quickly on his
yes,
back pedal, right? So the fact that TJ Quinn was shown that he can quickly get out there into coverage, get into the secondary when he needs to, and make plays consistently throughout a game, but then right when you need him to get into the backfield and make plays, like had a really big tackle for a loss,
yeah,
in a big third down, I believe, as well. So just he was everywhere, fellas.
yeah. I mean, him and Antonio Watts both, man. When you talk about
Ball.
Louisville's linebackers, defensively as far as in the pass coverage last year, were invisible. We talked about it
There's
in the
liability.
preseason. Just say again, Hayes.
So they were a liability. Last year, our linebackers were a liability. This year, it's one of the strengths of the defense.
Yeah, I mean, and when you got linebackers that get the proper depth, they're reading the eyes of the quarterback. They're playing in their zones, but they're playing active in their zones. It's not like they're standing in place. They're actually reading the quarterback's eyes, flowing to the football. Those guys, are, high impact players, man. So the linebacker core is overall. I love the fact, fellas, that we've had four TBG Player of the Week awards. They've gone to four different players, two offense and two defense.
And we
So
do take a vote on this, so it's a
yes,
has to be a player has to get two basically votes in a row. Obviously,
yes,
we haven't had a game in which three guys have all deservedly kind of earned it.
yeah,
Miller Moss, I think, could have rightfully earned this one as well.
yep.
But
Chris Bell as
overall,
well. Shout out to him. 10 catches, 135 yards,
yeah,
and a touchdown. Chris Bell
exactly.
absolutely could have been.
And Antonio
We've
Watts had an interception that probably won the game.
yeah,
Probably if Antonio Watts does not pick off that pass on the goal line right after Blue Hicks has that catch down to the forward,
That's a
yeah,
touchdown.
yeah. I don't know if Louisville comes back, but
it would have
hey,
been tougher there.
but no, but congratulations, TJ Quinn, man. You did your daddy proud. Your pops was a ferocious defender for Louisville, and you have accorded yourself well. I talked about TJ last year. I was like, the dude led Louisville in tackles, and I felt like it was the most forgettable leading tackler in the history of Louisville football last year. So I'm glad to see he's coming off to having a great senior season. He's off to a great start. He's been solid in every game. He got the accolades for the ACC's linebacker of the week last week. I believe he's back in there again this week. So, dude is making plays. Louisville's defense is stepping up. Ron English, hey fellas, at this point, is Ron English officially off the hot seat?
Yeah, at the
Yeah.
moment.
For the moment, you still gonna put that caveat on it, Roman?
I mean,
He's
it's
got
not
to
football
show
to
me.
play.
He's got to show this for an entire season.
Fair.
You've got the talent. You couldn't show it for an entire game, two games in a row last season, and you had the talent last season. You're claiming that it was the you know not enough guys that had their head on their shoulders correctly last season is kind of basically what I got from that press conference talking about the defense before the season started. So you claim you've got your guys now. I want to see you do this for an entire season. Keep everybody on the same page, locked in, playing hard.
No, I'm right there with you, absolutely. But Ron English lives to fight another day. The defense has. This is probably the at least the second game where I feel strongly that Louisville's defense won them the game. I felt like Louisville won them the defense won the JMU game, and they definitely kept Pittsburgh at bay until the offense got in gear and won them the Pittsburgh game. So kudos to them. Kudos to TJ Quinn. Shout out to everybody on that defense because it's definitely a team effort on there. Fellas, last thing that I just want to get into, just kind of what are you all's initial feelings as we get ready for UVA, man? Like, how are you all feeling? I need Roman. Y'all always do the vibe check on the Rutherford show. Like, what are you feeling as we get ready to bring the Wahoos in here on Saturday?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like it'll be a tough game for the sake of it, potentially maybe having to be one where you're relying on your offense. The defense. It's going to be the same thing, Raashaan, in terms of how
Very
you
similar
win.
to the Pittsburgh game. Yeah.
You're going to have to win the turnover battle. You're going to have to give your defense as much time off the field as you possibly can because they're going to be going up against an offense that is going to keep our defense out there, right? They can run the ball, they can throw the ball, they take shots downfield. They've got multiple backs that are able to go get them that 4 yards just about every time it feels like. Um, top 5 offense, top 5, I believe, points per game or yards per game. Different top 5 offensive statistics for them already at this point in the season.
Yes.
The defense, though, it'll let up some points. It'll let up some yards as well, fellas. So it's another game where Miller Moss get the passing game involved early. Make them know that Chris Bell and Colin Lacey will beat you if you don't change how you defend. Hopefully, you can start getting 3 or 4 yards consistently on some run plays. I'm not going to ask for any big breakaways, but if you can just get us something on 60% of our runs, to where we can turn that 1.7 yards per carry into like a 3.7 yards per carry. I would love that at the very least. Hopefully, the offensive line can shift some of that ability in from the pass play and add that a little bit into the run blocking because we're not getting any push, fellas. I get it's a different type of blocking in the pass game. You're not trying to give up any ground when you're passing versus trying to go gain as much ground as possible when you're running. It's just tougher. We're dealing with some transfer portal guys, some new guys. Pete Niger, I believe, the only returning starting all offensive lineman outside of Sylvester, who's still not playing full starting snaps. I believe in at the moment.
Yeah.
Um, Returning starter, yeah. So we've got to get that going, but that starts with Miller Moss in the pass game being on point from start to finish, and not from second half or midway through the second quarter and on. So I expect big things from the defense, but it's going to start by turnover, winning the turnover battle, getting the maybe potentially having a couple big plays go your way in terms of a little bit of luck. I hate to say that, but this is an offense that takes a lot of chances in Virginia. So the time of possession was a big key that isn't getting talked about a lot in this game, and that was the kind of the key to our comeback. And it also happens when you take the ball away how we did, and you're not running the ball at all, right? The
Hmm.
clock is kind of keeping going. You're having these stagnant drives, but we won the time of possession massively against Pitt, like 39-22 or something like that. Um, and we've got to do that again, fellas. That's kind of where I'm at, right? Defense, they're not going to ask
Absolutely.
them to. I'm not asking for a full half football shutout. It's not going to be easy to do against the number 24 team in the nation, who's kind of earned that 24 so far, based at least on what the offense has done. So uh, they've also lost to a bad NC State team. This is
Yeah.
just a
Their
team,
only other road game.
and that's unfortunately not a ACC loss for them due to some bullshit, if you ask me. I don't
I
even
don't
know
know
how to
how you
explain it.
schedule. I don't know how you schedule a conference foe for a non-conference game. That is so weird. That is so odd. I
Yeah,
don't get it.
very, very weird to me. But
Very
I think
odd.
this is a very, very, very winnable game, fellas. You're getting them off of they're on their biggest high that they could be on this season. They're thinking that they could go and win this game, but they also didn't perform well on the road. So this is if we get a good crowd, I expect them to go out there and handle business.
Haven, how are you feeling?
I'm a couple of things. One, if you want to get a good crowd out there, then go to wakeup502.com and buy your tickets now. We got
There
tickets
you
on
go.
sale at wakeup502.com. Go to the website, get your tickets now, get in a place. Matter of fact, we got tickets for Clemson and the UK game up there. So the three hottest home games. Go to wakeup502.com, grab your tickets. For me,
There you go.
I'm a little worried about this game because if we come out sloppy again, Virginia's a better team than Pittsburgh. They can make you pay more for your sloppy play. And one thing this team has been all year is sloppy and undisciplined. I don't know how many unsportsmanlike conduct penalties we had.
Oh God. Ugh.
You know,
Too many,
you got like three or
too
four of those a
many.
game. You're going to get called for holding at least like three or four times a game. I mean, almost averaging. It's almost like a John L. Smith team.
Yep.
Where we almost average like 70 yards in penalties a game. Like you
A
can't have
hundred
that many.
yards,
What?
averaging like 100 probably.
It's
Pretty close
close.
to it. But like you can't have that many penalty yards and expect to beat good teams.
No.
You just can't do it. And I'm happy we finally got the turnover thing switched in our favor. But man, we gotta stop playing sloppy. That's if we could play a non-sloppy game, we can win. But if we just keep getting holding penalties, unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, and keep pushing us back or stalling drives out, you're making it 1,000 times harder than what it has to be.
Yeah.
Play clean, we should be okay.
Yeah. No, and I like it. I'm right there with you. Tony Elliott, you're going to see a team that a lot like Pittsburgh. I think they are very similar in their setup. They're a team that's going to be um, very uh, disciplined defensively. They're going to go out there. They don't necessarily have the athletes that Pittsburgh does, but they have guys that play with full out effort. They rally to the ball. They play fundamentally sound football. They try to be opportunistic. They want to take advantage of your mistakes. So, like you said, Roman, taking care of the football, that's going to be number one. Second of all, I agree with you, Haven, on the penalties, the personal foul penalties. Like I understand some of the holding calls are going to happen, but the personal foul penalties are just ridiculously unnecessary. And I saw a lot of chirping with the Pittsburgh players. A lot. Chris Bell was getting into it with some of the guys. A lot of just jawing back and forth. Like I would rather let's just stay out of that and go out and just take care of business. Like you don't need to do all that talking. Let it happen on the field. Celebrate with your fellas when we in the end zone, or when we force the turnover. Like let's just leave our talking to that. I feel if Louisville, this is another game where I just feel like Louisville has better athletes. Louisville has more playmakers. They have more big play ability. So to me, you continue to put this ball in the hands of Miller Moss. You continue to build on that, on his confidence, and I feel like he's a dude that can take you to the promised land week in and week out. I really do believe that, especially with the weapons that Louisville has. This is not a situation where it's going to be boom or bust. Man, we're just looking to hit that Ja'Cory Brooks 30 or 40-yard pass down the field. Like this is a team in Louisville this year that can possess the football. The biggest key to winning that game, fellas, is that we out our time of possession in that Pittsburgh game was unbelievable. Like Louisville had a big time of possession advantage in that game. And I think that was one of the time of possession was 39 minutes, 22 seconds to only 20 minutes and 38 seconds for UVA. Like that was huge. The Virginia defense was on the field almost the whole second quarter and most of the second half.
Pit
And
defense. Pit defense.
the Pitt defense was on the field almost the whole second quarter and the whole second half, and that paid huge dividends. While Louisville did not run the ball, their short passing game was their running game. And they just wore that Pittsburgh defense out. So I want to see more of that. I want to see, Louisville continue to get Colin Lacey and Chris Bell the ball out in space. And right now, fellas, I feel good. Like going into this game, Virginia is definitely a team that can win and that can beat Louisville. But this is another game where I just feel like Louisville's got to beat themselves if they're going to lose. In
I
my
think we
I'm
personal
just
right
have to
there
be
opinion.
with you.
clean.
Play clean football.
Yeah.
It's got to be clean.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, fellas, let's go ahead and wrap it. Let's get on out of here. Of course, letting everybody know we will be coming back to you this coming Saturday morning, 9 to 11 a.m., 96.1 FM, Big X Sports Radio. Well, we also plan to be out at Training Day again this Saturday with the 3:30 kick. We'll be able to get out there, do the pregame tailgate. So we'll be out there, talking to the folks. It's supposedly going to be, Mark Weinberg said, sunny, sunny, sunny on Saturday. So it should
Perfect
be
weather, baby.
perfect weather. It's going to be a little hot. It's still going to feel like it's August 30th or whatever. It's still going to be crazy warm. But get on out there. Be loud, be proud. Louisville's got a top 25 team coming in there. So let's get everybody out there. But I hope to see everybody there. Make sure you check in with us. Go to Main Event Sports 101.com, wakeup502.com. Check out Haven Harrington at ME Sports. Check out Roman at Romy Bean and myself at Raashaan, Raashaan. But thank you so much for listening to this for Raashaan Myers and Haven Harrington. Roman Kelly, we're out. And like we always say, without any struggle,
There is no progress.
peace. Appreciate y'all.